I will try to be brief and as provocative as I can. I think I have assumed one of the most difficult tasks in the Turkish government, that is making Turkey a member of the EU, and it's a long process. But this afternoon I have two difficulties. One is your full stomachs, that you might feel sleepy. The second competitor that I have is your smartphones. So I have to compete with them, and I hope I will be successful. Of course, today we are talking about the visions for the EU. In order to fix some visions for the EU, I think we have to look at the main challenges that the EU is facing today. First of all, we see that especially after the Eastern enlargement in 2004, we have some dividing lines within the EU. So we have the North-South, West-East divisions. Today, we see some of the member states who are challenging, for example, the Copenhagen political criteria, and we are seeing some member states whose votes in the Council might be suspended. And second biggest challenge that we see in the EU is the migration crisis. In 2015, we had like 7,000 people trying to go illegally to the rest of Europe through Turkey. And this migration crisis caused a lot of trouble in many EU countries. Today, we see many governments which cannot agree on migration policy. And migration became also some sort of domestic issue in many of the EU countries. The third challenge that the EU is facing, I would say maybe the most important challenge that the EU is facing, and it is from internal, it is populism and the rise of far right. I think this is probably the biggest danger that the EU is facing, because this is detrimental, I would say, to the idea of European integration. Today, every EU country is trying to be a free rider, and today, unfortunately, mainstream parties are not challenging the far-right parties, but they are competing with them. They are also adopting similar policies, which is putting the EU's credibility at risk. But also, this, I would say, ultranationalism leads to radicalization in the EU countries. It also leads to Islamophobia in some of the member states. And this is a big risk for the future of the EU. Then we have some weak governance in most of the EU countries. When we have elections, we see the rise of far right, and we see a long period of government formation. I think this is weakening the governance of the EU at the European level. And of course, this is all happening in digital age. We probably need some sort of new democracy, which should be a digital democracy, because there is too much of information pollution, and we are questioning whether the people are voting for the right thing. For example, when we have a Brexit referendum in the UK, now most of the academic findings demonstrate that people did not really vote for the Brexit, but they voted for something else. So in this digital age, are we really communicating with the people? Are they making the right choice when they vote? We probably need to, create some sort of internet democracy, digital democracy, which can tackle the challenges of digital age. Then we have Trump effect, which is also influencing, I would say, the vision and the future of Europe. So Trump is proposing some sort of unilateralist approach, a protectionist approach. And it also gives the idea of free rider to many countries. So this is a huge risk because this is against the spirit of European integration, and this means division at the WTO when it comes to trade. It is division at NATO when it comes to our security, but also it is division within the transatlantic relations. So this is also quite a challenge for the EU that EU has to tackle with. Of course, one more challenge, Brexit. So, as I mentioned earlier on, with the decision of 2016, with only 51.9%, Brits are about to leave the EU. But by the time the Brexit will happen, probably 57% of the people who voted in 2016 will be in favor of keeping Britain in, despite the fact that Britain will be leaving the EU. So this is also a challenge for the unity and integrity of the EU. Some people can see it as a challenge to the future of European integration, but some people like myself who believe that Brexit might also strengthen the EU and create maybe a stronger union. One of the challenges that EU has to tackle also is the question of unanimity. I think today the EU has become the victim and the slave of the unanimity rule. So if we take all decisions by unanimity in defense, in foreign policy, I don't think EU will go anywhere. When we look at the European Union integration history, we always see that deepening and widening happen in parallel. So the last enlargement happened in 2004 and 2007, and also with Croatia in 2013, but we have not seen deepening in the EU. So I think what we need is not less Europe, but what we need is probably more Europe, and we need to do more deepening. If there is no more deepening, the European integration will not advance. Of course, to answer all these challenges, Eurocrats, European leaders propose some ideas. If you look at Bratislava Declaration, if you listen to President Juncker of the European Commission, we see different scenarios. I will leave this to EU presidency of Romania, because that is the vision part, maybe. But also, I would like to underline that all these theories that we discussed in the past, like Europe à la carte, differentiated integration, concentric circles, Europe multi-speed, these are not theories anymore. These are actually in practice, and this is what's happening. And that basically means that from now on, we will probably have some sort of flexible integration in a multi-speed Europe. Multi-speed Europe doesn't mean that there will be a core and first-class membership, and there will be second-class members. That's not the idea. The multi-speed Europe can allow the EU to act quickly and decisively, especially on defense, security, foreign policy, but also, if necessary, on migration. And then the other countries can follow. I think that's the way the EU will be leading. And also one of the vision that we should talk about Europe of people. The EU has to communicate itself to the people. Otherwise, populists and far right will continue to dominate European politics and will divert the EU from its main target, which is ever closer union. Of course, as a Turkish civil servant, as a Turkish person, I wouldn't earn my salary if I don't say a few words on Turkey. But this will not be Turkey-EU debate. What I will say in one word is that in all these challenges, be it migration, be it security, be it huge internal market, be it multilateral economic order, trade order, Turkey is a big asset for the EU, and Turkey is going to take some burden of the EU, and Turkey will be one of the main contributors to the European integration. Thank you very much.